Bagonza. I would like now to call Engineer George Okoroma, Managing Partner, CEO, GAPEC Consultants Limited. He's going to talk us about financing in Nigeria transport. Please welcome. Let me just introduce. Engineer George is a professional philanthropist and leader who believes that integrity, honesty, and professionalism remain the core values in public service delivery. His mission for the construction industry is to bridge the gap between local companies' best practices and excellence in engineering and other technical services for sustainable development. Okoroma graduated as a civil engineer in 1981 from the Paul Sabatier University, France. Years after, he co-founded GAPEC Consultants Limited, an engineering and project management consultancy firm in Nigeria. He's an active member and fellow of various professional associations and has received several awards, some of which are Distinguished Service Award by the Nigeria Society of Engineers and Association of Consulting Engineers in Nigeria, ASEN. The Justice of the Peace by the Nigerian government. He is the current Vice President of ACN and as well as Honorary Treasurer of FIDIC Now Africa. Please welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Indeed, it's a pleasure to be one of the speakers of this conference, and especially the second to the last speaker of this great conference. I'm sure the essence of allowing me to be the second to the last speaker is that I'm talking about financing of projects. And this afternoon, I will be talking about public-private partnership, project financing in Nigeria. Before I go into that, I want to congratulate Ugandan Association of Consulting Engineers for a well-organized conference, particularly my friend Alex and Betty. Congratulations. Indeed, we cannot talk about financing of infrastructure in Africa without talking about money. Without finance, without funding, we will just be talking about discussing projects without implementing them. And that is why the federal government of Nigeria, over the years, has done the necessary to put a platform together to be able to come up with a PPP plan to fund projects in Nigeria. And indeed, there must be deliberate policies and programs by government to ensure that infrastructure in Africa will indeed be carried out effectively and perhaps efficiently. The federal government of Nigeria came up with a platform to raise funds. And they came up with what we call the Sukuk bond. Perhaps it sounds strict to some of us, but Sukuk bond is actually a funding platform that is based on Arabic principles. Conventional bonds are bonds that you earn interest. But in the case of Sukuk bonds, it has to do with profit. And so those who subscribe to the Sukuk bonds are part owner of the project and earn profit from that project. And the plan is actually for inclusiveness. And so, what is a bond? A bond is simply that the issuer of the bond is indebted to the holder of the bond. But in the case of Sukuk bonds, you are part owner of the project or of the infrastructure for a period of time within which you earn interest on the investment. At the end of the period of the bond, you get back your principal. But the good thing about it is that when that project is executed, it improves in value. You also make more, you get more profit from it. And so that's the beauty of the Sukuk bond. The outline: Sukuk bond financing infrastructure in Nigeria, utilization of the funds for development of infrastructure, beneficiaries of the funds, conclusion, and references. I've said earlier, in conventional bonds, you have evidence of debt holders, and then it's fixed interest. In the case of Sukuk bonds, you earn profit, and you are the part owner of that investment. And the beauty about it is that because it's based on Arabic principles, there is what they call riba, which the Arabic principle prohibits, and that is earning interest on a loan or an investment. But in this case of the Sukuk bond, it's about earning profit on your investment. I like to look at it this way. It's like you build a home, and then you rent out the home to a tenant. Of course, you get a tenant rate. Perhaps if you decide at the end of the day that a tenant decides to say he wants to buy one property, he sells the property, you gain your profit on the property, and also you at the end of the day gain your capital. And if the property has gained value over time, of course that's an advantage for you. So that's basically what the Sukuk bond is all about. In 2017, the federal government launched the Sukuk bond in Nigeria. And it took several years by financial service regulators in our country, the Security and Exchange Commission, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the Pension Commission, and of course, the Insurance Commission. They all work together to come up with this program and this policy. And so it was launched in 2017, and the project actually started in 2018. And the project cut across the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, from the northeast to the northwest, to the north central, to the southwest and southeast and south central. And so the project, government made sure that these projects were distributed in all the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, and there were a total of 25 projects. You can see the beneficiaries of the project are in various zones. And particularly, for instance, in the northern central, you had about 5 projects, totaling about 16 billion naira. As far as differential half is that, in fact, when the Sukuk was launched, the initial target was 100 billion naira, but it was oversubscribed. That's the beauty about it. And as we'll see later in our presentation, we say the contributors to this fund. And then what we see there is the projects that have been executed. Some of these projects are either in phases or in sections. And they all cut across major highways and bridges in Nigeria. That is the investment profile. We can see the investments, the investors, and the percent of investment. The beauty about this is that we can see that the retail investors are quite high here. And that's why it is all-inclusive. About 17.3 billion was raised by retail investors. That means individuals who had money and yet to invest money in infrastructure in our country. The pension fund administrators had a total of close to 41%, which is quite interesting, which means to say that there's quite a lot of funds that is actually tied down with the pension fund administrators. So this is a good platform of mopping up money for investment in infrastructure in our country. The picture is here are the projects. What the project looked like before and what it looked after the construction or in the process of construction. That first one is in the northeast, the other one is in the north, so in the southeast, and then in the northeast, and then the south-south, and then the southwest. So you can see that this project cut across the entire country. The slide here shows the Minister of Power, Works and Housing receiving the check from the Office of the Debt Management in Nigeria. And so the bond is fully backed by the federal government. And so one piece about it is that the return, which is the profit or the return of this investment, is tax-free. It's exempt from tax. And that's one beautiful thing. And then it's for a 7 years period, and the percentage of return as agreed is about 15% return on investment. And this will be closing out in 2025. It's interesting to note that because of the success of this program, in the end of 2018, the second tranche was also launched, and it was for a 10 billion target. But we had subscription of over 32 billion extra to show how people, our investors, including retail investors, were prepared to put in their money for infrastructure in our country. We believe that it's possible that other countries of Africa, if they are able to launch this, it might go a long way to ensure that we can have funds to ensure that our infrastructure is developed in various countries in Africa. Indeed, the Sukuk bond is so interesting in the sense that you are the owner of the project. And the beauty about this is that it's corruption-free. Reason is that the owners of the fund want to make sure that their money is properly invested and the projects are executed. And unlike the funds that come through allocation, this fund is coming through the regulatory bodies. And so they will ensure that these funds are actually applied appropriately. And that is a win-win for both the investors, the contractors, and the consultants as well. So, this one good thing about this, you can cash out when you want to cash out. If you have invested in the Sukuk bond, and for any reason within the period, and you want to cash out, you can't go to the stock exchange, and then you have value for your investment, because it's controlled by the stock exchange or the security exchange of Nigeria. So, how is it beneficial to both the investors and the contractors and the consultants? For the contractors and the consultants, the money is ready for payment when once the jobs are carried out. When once you have your interim payment, interim certificates, you'll be paid. Unlike other government projects where funding becomes a problem. When the case of the Sukuk bonds, the funds are always there. So the contractors' information that feelers we get from contractors that when once they get to every milestone, payments are instantly made. That's perhaps one situation some of us find ourselves when we do some of the projects that are not properly funded. Because the challenges of consultants today is that we carry out a project and then it gets to time of payment. There is an issue of lack of funding. So, and we are advocating, if this could work in Nigeria, it could work elsewhere. And if the first phase was very successful, and they launched the second phase, and it was oversubscribed, it means that there also could be funds enough to be able to run this infrastructure in Africa. But for now, the 41st one was actually allocated to road infrastructure, transport infrastructure. But we're looking for that, maybe in the subsequent ones, government will think of other sectors, maybe water sector, maybe telecommunications, and what have you. To conclude, I want to say that it's a very good funding process to ensure that African infrastructure is developed and that by every nation keying possibly to this Sukuk fund or any other form of PPP funding, like other speakers have spoken, that will go a long way to building the infrastructure we need in Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.